Hello guys. In this session we will cover the rest part of capital market topic of economic subject. So let's start with the NBFC. See, these are the institutions which are working as banking, like providing loans and advance to the public, but they are not exactly banks. In what context they are different from banks? See, these entities cannot give, they cannot issue check, and also they cannot maintain the deposit account of public, which can be done by banks. One more thing I would like to add here, these entities registered under the Companies Act 1956, whereas banks comes under the purview of RBI. So this is the major difference between these two entities. We can take examples like your mutual funds companies, your LIC. So these are the NBFCs in India. Next, we have certain important terms. Let's start with the terms like bull market. What is bull market? This is a market which shows the group of securities in which prices are rising. So there is a prediction in coming days or in future the prices of securities will go up. So in this case, what exactly investors do in the present time, they will purchase more shares or keep it as stock so that they can sell in the future to get maximum profit. So this is your bull market. The opposite side is bear market, which shows in future the price of securities will get down. So what exactly people will do in present? They will sell the group of securities to get the higher price in the market. So these two things you have to remember, because most of the time question would come in your examination related to these two terms. Next we have hedge fund. So these are the fund which are privately owned companies. So these are the practices which are not clearly mentioned anywhere or under any guideline of any authority of security market. That you need to remember one thing. There are certain peoples who have who are very rich in the country and who really want to invest into the various securities so that they can get the good amount of returns. So what companies would do? The other companies would generate the capital resources through using this hedge fund. So you have to remember this hedge fund. Next we have venture capital. Venture capital, one, and second is angel investors, because these two terms have popular for the context of startup. See, when any one of us would like to start our own business at the lower level, then definitely we would initially need the huge amount of capital. So we will approach our relatives, our family members, and our those people who are having the net worth, so that they can provide financial to us to expand our business. So these are known as angel investor. Next we have venture capital. So there are certain professional people in the market who provides loan to the startup companies, and in return they would get the right of ownership of the startup companies, and they will definitely get dividend from the profit of the startup. So these are the money provided by financial institutions who invest alongside management in young, rapidly growing companies. So there is a major difference between venture capital and angel investors. The main difference is venture capital are those investors who invest their capital into startup, but in that return they would also hold the ownership right of startup, whereas in angel investors they are not keeping the ownership right of the startup. So hence we can take the entrepreneurs' families and friends as angel investors. Next we have chit fund. See, this is again a kind of fund which generates the capital in the market. So it is a kind of saving schemes practice in India. One point you have to remember, this is a kind of saving schemes. It is defined in the Chit Funds Act 1982. So it is very popular entire the country, but generally it is very much famous in the southern region of India, where it is also called chitti or kuri. So what exactly this saving scheme? Basically there are certain people of group of people who come together, who create a agreement. So as per the agreement, what the each member of group, what they do, they they subscribe a certain sum of money by way of periodical installments. So periodically they invest, they save their certain amount of money with one leader of group over a definite period, and that each such subscriber shall in his turn as determined by the lottery or by auction. So this is also kind of a lottery system which is very popular in the northern region of India. So next we have Nidhi. What is Nidhi? Again, it is a kind of entity which generates finance into the market. It is one of, we can say it is one of the NBFC sector which is recognized under Companies Act 2013. First important keyword is it is a kind of NBFC. Hence, it is registered under the Companies Act, Amended Act 2013. Earlier, it was 1956. Now, it is 2013. This core business is borrowing and lending money between their members only. Another keyword is between their members, not outsiders. These are regulated by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Again, key term is here. Next, RBI is empowered to issue directions to them in matter relating to their deposit acceptance activities. So here the important role of RBI in the matter of deposit, because RBI's main role to maintain the money supply in the market. Although these the RBI never maintain the action, the courses of Nidhi. Next, the important keyword is here. Every Nidhi shall within a period of 1 year from the commencement must ensure that it has not less than 200 members. So basically the financial activity runs across these 200 members only, not with outsiders. Next, we have certain other terms related to stock exchanges or related to securities of companies. One is authorized capital. So at the time of issuing any group of any securities in the market, the authority, the SEBI gives the authorized capital, so that this is a maximum amount of share capital which can raised or which can issued by a company. Next term is issued share capital. So this is exactly issued by the company from time to time. So it is either equal or to the less than the authorized capital. So exactly what the limitation, the criteria, the maximum limitation is authorized. Issued means the number of issue of shares in the market. Next, subscribed share capital. It means the part of issued capital which is subscribed by the public. Subscribed means accepted by the public as investors. Next, we have paid up share capital. So it is an aggregate amount of money received from the shareholders for share issued. So whatever the amount paid by public, that is your paid up share capital. Next, we have par value. See, if any share is issuing at rupees 100, so this 100 rupees is known as par value, which is also known as face value. Next, we have premium value. When it is sale in the market or issue in the market above the par value, like if 100 rupees share is selling in the market at rupees 110 rupees, so this is a premium value. Next, we have very important term, that is spread. What is spread? It is a margin between buying and selling of shares. Next, we have buyback. Buyback, although a very famous practices runs by companies, but it is not fair practices in the market. It is also known as a share repurchase, when company buys its own outstanding shares to reduce the number of shares available on the market. Why companies do? when company wants to increase the price of shares in the market, in keeping this thing, they reduce the number of shares so that the number would be less and respective price will be high. So that is buyback. Next, we have certain terms through which company generate the funds in India. So here we will going to talk about foreign institutions investment. So first we have FDI. Although it is not directly linked with the share market, but just understand in a brief manner, but definitely it will be dealt in the detailed manner under the balance of payment chapter. Basically, FDI is an investment in the form of controlling ownership in a business in one country by an entity based in another country. We can take the example of Walmart and Facebook. When Walmart bought approx 77% shares of the Facebook company in last year. So in this context, the ownership right of the company went to Walmart company in India. That is your FDI. One more thing is very important. As per the Companies Act 2013, if a foreign investor owns more than 10% of shares in a listed company, it will be treated as FDI, not beyond this limit. Next, we have FII, which is directly linked with the security market, which we really need to understand under this heading. That is your foreign institutional investor. So with this name, we can easily understand there are certain institutions who belongs to foreign countries and they are directly investing into security market of India as FII. And with this context, definitely they have to registered under SEBI's Act in India. So it means an institution established outside India which purposes to make investment in securities in India. One more thing I really would like to make you sure here. Earlier, an individual was not allowed to invest directly into stock market of India. So with this, if really an individual wanted to invest in Indian stock market, definitely first they have to register with the FII, and that FII must be registered, must be having account in the SEBI's account in India. That is your FII. So next, so when we talk about FII, like mutual fund companies, insurance companies, so these are the entities of foreign nations who can invest into the stock market. But in this context, it it somewhere it contrast or it depress the broad channel of raising the funds in India. Companies of India wants to collect more finance, more capital from outside. With this view, SEBI has taken up lot of initiatives. With that initiatives node, 2-3 initiatives have been very popularized in India, like participatory notes. So these are the instruments which issued by registered with the SEBI in India, like FII, to overseas investors who wish to invest into Indian stock market without registering themselves with the market regulator, that is your SEBI. Let's take an example. Suppose if any American individual want to invest into stock market of India, Bombay stock stock market, so for that he can firstly he would approach the FII, the foreign institution, foreign NBFC, who already registered with Bombay Stock Exchange with this SEBI, that is known as participatory notes. So directly now from this 1992 onwards, American individual as investor can directly invest, can directly buy the shares of Reliance company without registering himself with the SEBI. So this is all about participatory notes. Yes, we can also, it has the positive consequences and negative. Negative means with this channel the black money can also enter into the Indian market, which somewhere will, somewhere will be legal, will be illegal, sorry. Next we have QFI. QFI means qualified foreign investment. So as we know, foreign individuals cannot directly invest in Indian markets without sub accounts with NFII. So with this alternative, as an alternative, QFI was introduced in the year 2002. So now certain investors, certain citizens, certain, like American, suppose American, if that person registered, that person declared by SEBI, or is declared by SEBI as qualified foreign investor, then definitely he can invest in India without sub account. So this is again a broad channel for inviting the foreign investors into the share market of India. However, they have to open a demat account. Demat means dematerialized electronic mode, and trade account with a depository participant. See, these participants are authorized dealer of SEBI. So with this channel they can directly invest into the share market of India. One more thing here, QFI can be an individual, group, or an association. With this initiative, any company, any association can directly invest into Bombay Stock Exchange without holding any account with SEBI. So this is again a broader liberal step which has taken up by SEBI in India to increase the liquidity in the market. One more thing which is very important in the context of QFI, that is the that should be resident in a foreign country, but that really must comply with the standards of Financial Action Task Force, that is your FATF, which is an intergovernmental body established in 1989 by the ministers of its members jurisdiction. So basically these people are invited to invest into the stock market of India, but with not the motive of increase or encourage the money laundering, terrorist financing, and other related threats to the integrity of the international financial system. So all the compliances, they must be compliance with the FATF standards. Next we have FPI. Somewhere, most of the time students get confused between FII and FPI. See, FPI is the broader term than FII. FPI includes FII, the institutions with who have the accounts with SEBI. Next, it also includes QFI, who are not having the accounts with SEBI. So these two entities comes under the broader term, that is your FPI. Next we have term financial benchmarks. What exactly happens when bank lends money to any debtors, when banks lending and borrowing, then definitely what they need some benchmark to generate or to calculate the interest rate. So with this context, they consider the benchmark of LIBOR. LIBOR means the London Interbank Offer Rate, which is done by the London Bank. In the same way, in India, two entities working for the generating benchmark for the interest rate calculation, like MIBOR and MIBIT. MIBOR's full form is Mumbai Interbank Offer Rate. Interbank means when one bank can borrow or lend to another bank. With the transaction between two banks, they want to consider the interest rate, and for the calculation of interest rate they need some benchmarks. With this context, this MIBOR works. So basically the valuation of interest rate calculate or done by these two entities. Next is MIBID, Mumbai Interbank Bid Rate. So these are the two interest rates benchmark in Indian interbank market, where most of the transactions are done in Mumbai. Next we have depository receipt. See, this is very important term, so we need to understand in a very layman. So this receipt is using by companies as an alternative. Suppose Reliance, there is a Reliance company who wants to generate capital from foreign investors. For that they have to consider the technique of FII. They have to list it, they have to publish their shares, issue their prospectus in the stock market. They have to wait for the attracting the pooling of foreign investment. So with that point, they think we don't have much time, we want to foreign investment right now, and with that point of view, two entities have come, one entity of the home country and another entity of the another country, and the very famous technique comes here as the name of depository receipt. What exactly happens? First, understand this term. It gives investors the opportunity to hold shares. So when it gives the investors, in the same way it also gives the alternative to the companies who are issue the shares in the market. So it gives the investors the opportunity to hold shares in the equity of foreign countries and gives them an alternative to trading on an international market. So understand this term with the example. Suppose in India there is a company like Reliance, Reliance company in India, who wants to generate rupees 100 crores capital from the foreign investor. So he want to attract the American investor. What happens? What Reliance company would do? First, Reliance company would consult with the Depository Receipt Bank of India. So that bank will be that Bank of India. What they will do? They will consider bank as mediator who directly consult with the American bank, who directly approach the American investor. तो यहाँ पे रिलायंस कंपनी इंडियन बैंक को अप्रोच करेगा. इंडियन बैंक सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स जो होंगे रिलायंस कंपनी के शेयर्स के, वो अमेरिकन बैंक जो कि एक डिपॉजिटरी रिसिप्ट का काम कर रहा है उसको वो ट्रांसफ़र करेगा, और वो अमेरिकन इन्वेस्टर को ऑफर देगा कि ये रिलायंस कंपनी के शेयर्स है, और उस इन्वेस्टर से जो डॉलर्स है वो कलेक्ट करेगा. डॉलर्स को वो दे देगा किसको? इंडियन बैंक को. इंडियन बैंक डॉलर को कन्वर्ट करेगा रुपीस में, और वो रुपीस चला जाएगा किसके पास? रिलायंस कंपनी में. जो अमेरिकन इन्वेस्टर था उसको क्या मिला? अमेरिकन डिपॉजिटरी रिसिप्ट. अब उसको ये सपोज 100 करोड़ की रिसिप्ट मिल चुकी है, ठीक है. अब ये 100 करोड़ की वो रिसिप्ट चाहे तो जो अमेरिका की स्टॉक मार्केट है वहाँ पे भी जाके उसे रिडीम कर सकता है, ठीक है. तो ये एडीआर जो है वो सिर्फ अमेरिकन है, तो सिर्फ अमेरिका के ही स्टॉक मार्केट में रिडीम करेगा, या फिर जो डेट दिया रहेगा उसका वेट करेगा, और डिपॉजिटरी बैंक जो उस फॉरेन कंट्री की है, अमेरिका की है, उससे अपना कैश जो है वो अपना कलेक्ट करेगा. ये है एडीआर. जीडीआर होता है जो ग्लोबल डिपॉजिटरी रिसिप्ट होता है. सेम वे एडीआर है, बट इट इज रन इन द यूरोपियन कंट्रीज. यू जस्ट टेक अ ग्लांस द कंपैरिजन ऑफ एडीआर एंड जीडीआर. Next we have the major difference between money market and capital market. That will be easily understand when you will go the lecture of mine, that is money market and banking. Then definitely you will understand the difference between these two entities. So now we should here keep as rest part. There are certain reforms which have taken up by the authority in India to keep eye on this liquidity, so that the money laundering cases will not be happen in India. One, we have Financial Stability and Development Council. So this is a entity which is an apex body constituted by the government of India. So what you have to remember, this entity mooted by first Raghuram Rajan committee in 2008, and finally in 2010 the finance minister, that time Pranab Mukherjee, decided to set up such an autonomous body. This body is known as autonomous body, not an not as statutory body. First point is here. Second, it has replaced the high level coordination committee on financial market. Third point, the chairperson of this body is Union Finance Minister of India. Next, there are certain members headed of certain authorities includes like RBI, SEBI, IRDA, and pension fund authorities. Next, there are certain objectives of FSDC: financial stability, interregulatory coordination, financial literacy, inclusion. The important objective of this authority is coordinating with the Financial Action Task Force and Financial Stability Board. That is very important objective of this FSDC. Next, we have Financial Sector Assessment Program. See, this program, most important keyword is here. It is established by IMF, International Monetary Fund, in 1999. So the main instrument of this fund surveillance and provides inputs. Next, we have Financial Action Task Force. This has come in 1989 on the initiative of G7. So this G7 group of 7 countries have brought this task force. Next term we have credit agency. So these are the there are certain national agencies, there are certain international agencies whose main role to rate the debtors on the basis of their ability to pay back their interest. See, जो इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं, on what terms they are ready to invest into the shares of certain companies. They need analysis, they need the analysis on the basis they can invest into the securities of the company. For that, they can also consider the analysis of these credit agencies, which analyze the credit worthiness of the debt issuers, so that the company can pay back their interest or their dividend to the investors. Like CRISIL, we have CRISIL, CARE, ICRA, SMERA, ONICRA, Fitch India, and so on. So these are the 6 major national credit agencies which we have. International credit agencies like Moody and Standard and Poor's. There are certain related terms like arbitrage. What is arbitrage? It refers to the buying and selling the same security on different markets and at a different price points. So this is arbitrage to get maximum benefit. Next, blue chip stocks. Most of time this question has come. Blue chip means the huge profit earned companies who are who are issuing their stocks in the market. So these are the industry leading companies. Next, we have leverage. So this leverage means it is again an investment strategy of using borrowed money to increase the potential return of investment. Leverage means somewhere profit which company which is an investment strategy by using borrowed money. That is your leverage. So with this end we complete this part 2 of capital market. Next session I will be there with the new topic of economic subject. So be safe, stay at home. Please share my channel, subscribe and like, and if you have any query, then you can ask in a comment box. Thank you.